Welcome back, listeners, to the Hero Whispers. You are here on our podcast with Supergirls and Chief Supergirl, yours truly, Jeannie McPhillips. We're here tonight with Miss REAA CHADHA, who is an amazing young lady. We're going to hear all about her story. But first, just a little bit of detail about our show in case this is the first time tuning in. This is the Hero Whispers. It's a podcast all about girl power, female empowerment. Supergirls is a platform we created to inspire and empower college women to launch from college to life and help them out there, give them tools for their toolbox so they can be bigger, stronger, and faster. And on the Hero Whispers, we talk to them, some of them that have launched, some of them that are still in college, and hear their stories about what's going on today in the world, what's working, what they're worried about, what's on their heads. And tonight, we have the honor of being here with Miss REAA CHADHA, who is also an alum from my alma mater, William & Mary, who I met through the network, fortunately for me and for you. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we're going to hear her story. It's amazing. So REAA started on her career path during college by working as a marketing and social media marketing intern for the Jordanian Tourism Board, a part of the Jordanian embassy. She worked in that role for 3 years, eventually being hired as a full-time associate. Following this, she worked as a marketing associate for the firm globally, while she was studying abroad in none other than Madrid, Spain. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Madrid, Spain. Here, she was able to focus on media, ROIs, and client relationships. Having been exposed slightly more to development in the role, she felt drawn to that aspect of work, which brought her to STEM Connector, where she focused on client care and proposals. Currently, she's working at NACD as a senior board development associate within the business development team, and that role has allowed her to broaden her understanding of public company boards, as well as act as a key member of the development team. Such an amazing, powerful amount of experience for the amount of time she's been out of college. It's amazing. So REAA, welcome to the show. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks so much, Anne. How are you today?
Oh, just fabulous. So honored to have you tonight. So happy.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I'm excited to talk with you today.
Well, listeners, REAA and I met through the William & Mary Switchboard, which is an alumni network that's like a secret network, and we do a lot of power chats through there. So she actually agreed to help me with some research that we're doing for Supergirls, and I invited her to join us on the podcast because she just was so positive. She has so much amazing energy, and I wanted her to share her story with us. So I'm lucky I'm lucky that you had the time to do it. So first let's go back to William & Mary and your time there and your major and like how you made that decision and how that all ended up, in your first career position.
Sure. So William & Mary, I was actually drawn to it because of my love of history. Obviously the school's entrenched in history, they like to claim of being the first school chartered in the U.S. And it's great. Yeah. So, that's kind of what drew me to the school, but really going into it, I wasn't quite sure as to what I wanted to do. So I kind of just started taking classes that interested me. And it ended up kind of leading me down a path towards history, which I didn't realize until they actively put a hold on my account and told me I had to declare a major. But after I looked at it, I was basically done with a history major by the time they did that. So I was lucky it panned out well. But it was something I was passionate about. I love, hearing stories. I love learning about people and everything that they've done. So that's kind of where my passions lay.
So is there any specific part of history that you really loved? Like, was it American history? Was it European history?
Yeah, so I actually focused a lot on Southern Asia, so India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, that kind of part of the subcontinent. And I really focused a lot, especially during the Mughal regime in India, which is super niche, but there was a professor at William and Mary who was just beyond amazing. And actually, I ended up taking, I think, every single one of the courses she offered so I could specialize, in that field of study. So it was really great. And I was glad I had that opportunity.
Let me ask you something about that. Since, I'm a professor at NYU, and I'm just curious. I know that some students resonate with the way I teach and my style more than other students.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious, the fact that you were so entrenched in this area, was it because of her, do you think? Or was it because of the actual subject matter? Or was it a combination?
Sure. So I did seek out that subject matter. I really tried to focus and get away from North American history, because that was something that I kind of had grown up doing, and I didn't want to relearn the U.S. history over and over and over again. And so I really sought out specifically, especially Asian and Indian history, and the fact that her teaching style was just so passionate, and she really engulfed you in all of the material. That really made me want to continue it, and it delved on beyond just my passion. But she was an amazing teacher, so that was a huge factor in it.
And when you say amazing teacher, what was it about her? Was it her energy, or just her level of expertise that you were drawn to?
I think it was a combination of her teaching style, which was just she really exuded confidence. And so I really liked that, because it was nice to have someone to look up to who was studying something that I was passionate about and was doing it with so much finesse. And then her expertise was amazing, because I could come to her with questions, and she was so open about having students come in and talk to her. She made sure her office hours were basically always available. She was always willing to chat with anyone. It didn't matter about the course or anything like that. She just was happy to kind of speak with students and help them gain a new perspective.
So that is really refreshing. That's cool that there's
Mm-hmm.
professors out there like that. That's how I am with my kids, but kids, they're really, a lot of them are adults. But so okay, so you went from this awesome depth of knowledge and history, and then you started your career in social media. What's the connection? How did you,
Sure.
get A to B? So a lot of our listeners are trying to figure out what to do, trying to understand, navigate the path. So I love hearing from different people that have different ways of approaching it.
Yeah, sure. So I did social media marketing as my first job, mostly because I was really interested in the field of work that the tourism board did. So I was really passionate about travel, and travel automatically had cultural history involved with that. And so I was really interested in learning more about the company, which was great. And so that's kind of more or less why I decided to do that, because that was the position that was available. And I ended up really enjoying it, because it's kind of a way, again, my passion with history was about stories. And so what I was able to connect from that was the social media side of the tourism board was a way to project the stories of Jordan, the country, out to the public. And I was really passionate about getting the message heard. So that's kind of where that tie-in occurred.
That's really cool. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, it was great. It was great.
I mean, the fact that you put all that together, and the fact that you're telling stories. Telling stories is what is great brands are made of. So I love that you resonated, that you were drawn towards that.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was most interested. So I was really happy that I was even able to do that.
And so, how do you attribute William & Mary to helping you prepare and launching into your career? Because obviously your career has taken some twists and turns, but you've been successful on all those twists and turns. How do you feel they gave you tools in your toolbox for that?
So I think William & Mary, first of all, they excel on the side of academia. So providing students with in-depth knowledge with professors who are cutting edge was their strong suit, and what I really gained from the school. I came away feeling very insightful, and as though I could carry a conversation about 1,000 different topics. And I think that was really helpful, especially when you're trying to create a brand for yourself and get your name out there. And that's where I really was able to utilize that confidence that William and Mary gave me. So that's, I think, the strongest lesson that I learned from school is, you can use the schooling in whatever way you want, but being able to create that message for yourself and feeling like you're not being a fraud or anything like that was a really good feeling coming out of school.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely, some of us can feel like an imposter. That's definitely something,
Right.
especially in women, that's out there. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that it drove your confidence. I mean, it's definitely it's so intense, and Women Mary makes you study your butt off
It
to earn
does.
those grades. So yeah, when you earn them, you certainly feel confident.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So, oh, that's great. Good. Kudos to the tribe. Go tribe. Love it. Love it. Um, okay. So now that you're out, you've made some changes. Like what, can you talk us through like how you made the changes and what inspired you to make certain
Yeah.
changes?
Sure, sure. So I'm very early on in my career path, and something that I have steadily gained more and more value for is understanding that aspect of networking. So when I got my first kind of internship fellowship out of school, it was a really great opportunity for me, but in the end, it wasn't somewhere that I really wanted to work full time. And while I was super concerned about that because I was like, just out of school, I finished this amazing fellowship and they'd offered me a job and I felt like I almost was obligated to take it. I ended up, deciding to turn that down. And the people that I had worked with over the summer actually were the ones who helped me get a job that fit what I was looking for better, like much better. And that kind of shocked me because I kind of was very worried that they would be upset and this and that. And I had all these, vague concerns about hurting people's feelings. And it ended up being such a great way for me to learn from them because a lot of them said, it was an organization that was really passion driven and it was focused on engineering and things like that, which was amazing to see all these people who really were enjoying what they were doing. And the message that I came away with from them was that they wanted to help me find that passion. And so that's kind of how I ended up at the organization I'm at today, which was really great. The place I'm at now is a really amazing place to learn, especially because the people I end up working with are board directors. And so having people who on a day-to-day basis I'm speaking with who can give me some insight into, their decades and decades and decades long career path is amazing. And, that's, I think, the most valuable part of what I've gained here.
Well, one thing that because you're very humble and adorable, but you didn't meant that got you to the point where these people wanted to help you. You must have developed really good, strong rapport, and delivered on your value proposition in order for them to want to help you find your passion. They must really have felt, wow, this girl is like on fire and she is working so hard and giving us everything we asked for, and they wanted to pay it forward kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So that's very true. I really did work very, very hard with them my entire fellowship. I ended up helping them publish and edit a book that came out, which was a great experience. And, I was so shocked to have had a book published with my name attached to it. And so I did provide them with a lot of information. And I also think, it's nice to be able to build those connections because it's always, again, stories are something that I'm passionate about, and being able to hear everybody's stories and why they decided